Okay, has anybody else been getting a lot of propaganda from the school district? It seems a bit excessive. I got this several weeks ago, and something that stands out is this big giant red arrow saying my taxes are going to go down. But really, if you make sure you read it, look right there. They do put in tax rate. They say your taxes are going down, and then they add this whole lower right here to it, like they're lowering your taxes and doing a favor, but in fact they're trying to tell you something. I don't know, that their taxes are going down if you vote for this. I don't know, and it goes on. Here it is again. Big gigantic arrow saying how many more students we're going to have. I don't doubt that we're going to have students, and I'm sure we do need a new schools and stuff, but this is kind of over the top. This one also has this big giant, red arrow, pass or fail your tax rate. Pay attention, rate will remain the same. But, come on, not everybody understands this whole thing is a rate plus your value of your home and how much they decide to spend on schools before your tax bill gets printed and sent to you. This is kind of, one problem I'm having with this is that I know this has got to cost $1 a household. And there's probably about 19,000 households in Lake Travis. And I got my third one today. I mean, I know this cost $1 in postage and printing to get this to somebody's house. This is probably 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. They spent $60,000 convincing us that, let's see, 100% of the bond to manage fast growth and impact every student. Well, no kidding. What else would you be spending it on? That's dumb. This gets me. This is in my craw here. 0% increase in school district property tax rate. That is true. On the day you vote for this, your tax rate is not going up. But this is completely disingenuous. You cannot borrow money without it costing you money. And I'm going to show you why. So I looked at all those school board mailers that I was getting and was really confused. I couldn't really understand why they kept telling me my taxes weren't going up, but my taxes are going up. And I'll tell you, here is how you can tell. If you go to this website, you can actually look and you can find your current market value, your current taxable value, and what your 2022 taxes will be, because they've already calculated them. They just haven't sent you the bills, and I don't know why. Maybe they have. I actually haven't been keeping up with it. But here's what I did is I went back in. So we all got this back, I don't know, several months ago. And you got this in the mail. It was a postcard, and I'm sure no one looked at it because why would you? Property taxes go up, then you pay your taxes, you die. Why bother even looking at it? But I did. And I went to this website, texas.gov/property taxes. And I'm not going to show you my house, so I'm going to use some other poor, sorry, people as an example. And what you do is you go to the website and you look up your county. So you go to this website right here, you look up your county, and then you scroll down to the bottom of the page. And what you get when you get to the bottom of the page, when you find your house, is you're going to find this Lake Travis ISD area. And if you're over 65, you're going to have a little box right here that says something about your taxes are fixed. And just FYI, if you didn't know it already, when you turn 65, the school district freezes your taxes somehow, and your taxes don't go up. So this tax increase, which is what it will say on the ballot, this is a property tax increase, is being levied on everyone that is not 65. Like it or not, love it or hate it, I'm going to love it when I'm 65. I'm kind of hating it right now, but that's just the way it is. So if you're 65, you probably already know that. You don't care about this bond, except it's going to probably affect everybody else in your neighborhood to a serious degree. So here's the deal with this guy right here. This guy right here, if you notice this no new revenue rate, it says for this guy $6,400. What this means is that if the school district didn't ask us for any more money than they did last year, this guy's taxes on Stratus Drive would be $6,400. Because they have not lowered the rate and they're just letting the rate ride, okay, this 1.212 rate ride, and this guy's house value has increased so much, he's going to pay $8,100 in taxes, more than he did last year. So if you want to know what your taxes are, go to, where did I put it? I can't find it. Go to this texas.gov property taxes, and that will get you there. Okay, this is it right here. I copied the URL, Living in Texas Property Tax Transparency URL, and I should change that. But the shorter URL is texas.gov property taxes. Go there, look up your county, go to the bottom of the page, look up your address. Then when you look up your address, go to the bottom of the page and you'll find this page. Now for this guy, I'm going to give you an example. For this guy, my house is actually not significantly different from this. When the school district presented this spreadsheet right here, it actually had $1 million here and it had $500,000 here, because they said that the average house value in Lake Travis ISD, the assessed market value, was around $1 million. You can find this in the board book for a meeting in the last couple of months. They actually presented this. And I basically took this spreadsheet and calculated how they came up with their numbers. And then I realized, I could figure out what my taxes are going to be over the next couple of years. So the couple of things that you're going to grab off of this spreadsheet here is your current market value right there. You see that $1.5 million for this guy? A little easier to see on this bigger version, this 1.5 million right here. Grab that, put it in this formula here, and then grab the taxable value, which is this number here, this 671. Grab that number, because the reason this taxable value number is not as high as your market value is because you get some freebies, and you have a homestead exemption and you have a state homestead exemption. The LTISD homestead exemption is 20% of the value of your house, and the state homestead exemption, I'm pretty sure it's $40,000, because I've calculated this to the penny and kind of backed into it and checked a bunch of stuff, and I think I'm spot on. But I'm not using my house just because I don't want people knowing who I am, and I'm picking somebody that has a house that's a little bit more than mine but makes a good example. So assuming that this guy's house increases in value by only 2% over the next several years, goes up to 1.7, and then his taxable value goes up, and I've got a formula that calculates, it can only go up by 10% a year, so it goes up by 10% a year every year until it reaches this kind of the number is, for this guy right here, the high number would be 1.3 million. So even right now on 2027, he's not at 1.3, so it's going to go up again the year after, and the year after, and the year after. So but in 2027, his taxes are going to be $5,000 more than they were in 2022. And that cost to him is going to be 40. So really this what I'm calculating is that this bond cost him about $50,000 over the course of 10 years. Depending on, I've heard the bond consultants at LTISD say this could take 10 years to pay off, or it could take, 20 years, and I guess it's something in between. But, if you do the math and you go, okay, this guy is going to pay $4,900, $5,000 more in taxes, okay? And if you take this bond, this $703 million, assuming 4.5% interest, which I think is probably low now, pay it off over 10 years, it's $85 million a year in payments. There are, I think, I can't find an exact number, but I'm just guessing, that there's 15,000 out of the 19,000 residents that are under 65. It's a guess, but I think it's a safe guess. That means that every single resident in Lake Travis ISD has got to pay the district an extra $5,600 a year for 10 years to pay this bill. This is a property tax increase. There is no way around it. If they weren't borrowing this money, they wouldn't need this $85 million from us. Now, whether I'm for or against a new school, I think it's disingenuous of them to spend our money to convince us that this is not a tax increase. And to just repeat again and again and again, this is not a tax rate increase. This is not a tax rate increase. This is not a tax rate increase. And I hear people on, Nextdoor and Facebook saying our taxes aren't going up. And, the documentation says your tax rate is not going up. I mean, they're conflating two things and confusing people. And they're using our money to do it. I think probably about $60,000 to $70,000 worth of our money to dupe us. So I think they ought to be honest with us and say, yes, we're going to use the value and the additional revenue that you're going to pay because of your house values have gone up. But do we really need everything gold-plated? It just seems like too much. And I think it seems disingenuous for them to not say this is a tax increase. And I think watching the district do these presentations where they say the law requires us to put on the ballot that this is a property tax increase, but we've lowered your taxes and they're remaining low. Even after you vote for this, your tax rate will not change. Well, yeah, it's not going to change that day, but we've just signed up for an $85 million payment next year. Or, it may, we're not going to borrow the whole amount day one, so it probably won't be the $85 million the first year, but they're going to go as fast as they can. I think it's completely disingenuous for them to try to tell us that this is not a tax increase and saying the law requires us to put this on the ballot, but we're really we've lowered your taxes the last couple of years, is just confusing people who really just want to do the right thing. And I think you're taking advantage of us. So that's my piece. Go vote. But before you do, go to this website right here, texas.gov/property taxes. Look up your county, look up your address, scroll to the bottom, and see what your taxes are going to be this year if they had not asked for any new money. Then look at what their taxes are going to be because they have not changed the rate. Go vote. Tell the district you'd like a better bond. You'd like some more options. There's a lot of gold-plated stuff in here. We need a better bond.